Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses, and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
I'm Joe, an anime sicko. You were really stressing some weird syllable choices to start.
I like to mix it up, Joe. I don't want it to just be like rote. You know, like when you're doing these things, if you do it the same way every time, it stops being words and starts being just. I won't feel it. You know, I won't believe what I'm saying.
You want people to listen and think, "Oh, something happened."
Yeah, I had a horrific brain injury, massive wounds on my head. I'm bleeding. That's how you know that you're podcasting good, because you're on the edge, like you're uncomfortable. When you're making any art, you want to be out of your comfort zone. Most people in their comfort zone making art don't have a head wound. Me, I got one, and you can tell because I'm just going on with this joke, and it's not good. Joe, I feel like we're doing something a little different this week. What are we doing different?
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to be coy, but I didn't read the note. So, we have a guest today.
Yeah, it's been a fucking age since we recorded one of these motherfuckers. We got a guest.
I'm nervous only because, like, I haven't talked to anyone in a podcasting sense that wasn't, like, exclusively you. Like, I'm used to just being able to, like, mid-sentence talk about a card I saw. And then we're like, all right, cool. We can use this, but like with this third person, I have to be on my best behavior.
Yeah, Joe. No card-based talking, unless they say yes, which may be the case.
Yeah.
And let's find out by introducing our guest, Whitney Reynolds. Hello, welcome to Sickos.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here, and you can talk about cards as much as you want. I'd be so happy to hear any of your card
You got to give
chat.
me direction. You can't just be like, all right, the chains are off.
I mean, I don't know, like the Jack of Spades. How you feel about that one?
Well, it doesn't have like an attack value on it, which blows.
Yeah.
The point of cards is so that eventually you can point at one and say, this is a 50-50 unit that costs 0. Mm-hmm. And, like, none of those numbers apply to playing cards. So, like,
they
those
just have eyes. Like, who gives a shit?
It's like, fuck Atlantic City, man. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, they should play Magic in casinos, which I'm saying as a joke, but now I'm like, that might actually get me to go to a casino and play Magic.
Yeah. Good.
Whit.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. Please introduce yourself to the lovely listeners.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm Whitney Reynolds. I'm a person on Twitter. I used to write at some point. I make soups, and I'm just here to have a good time. There's a big bug in my apartment right now.
I was going to say, make soups is such an understatement. I would say you are the soup genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's a little too much for you to like accept, if that's too high praise, the soup sicko, it's the same thing, but it doesn't sound as self-aggrandizing to be like, yes, I am the soup genius, even though you aren't.
I am the soup genius, but I like soup sicko. Soup Smith is what I've called myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One funny thing about asking guests to introduce themselves for the past year is that, like, the whole world has been flattened down to the point where if you ask someone, like, who are you and what do you do? The answer is always, like, well, I sit in my house. And then
that's it. But
you know what? Want me to lie and give you the best version of myself?
But hey, please. I sat in my house before the pandemic. That was...
Yeah. That's the thing about the pandemic that really... Well...
We talk like once again. We talk like, oh, it's all behind us.
One thing about the pandemic that really steams me is that it made sitting in your house one of the best things you can do. Like, it soured it.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I had COVID, which, guys, I gotta recommend, don't get that one. Not fun. Sucks.
I've heard nothing but bad things.
Yeah, I was an early adopter. I got it on March 16th, 2020. And it was it sucked. And I was in denial. I was like, oh, it's so funny that I have this bad cold right during this pandemic. And like a week in, I was like, oh no. This is it, folks.
I knew vaguely that you had it early on, but March 2020. That's right. like the month that the turn happened.
It was
right.
the
You
day.
live in New York, right?
Yeah.
So it was sirens nonstop.
Oh sure, yeah. While in my like half coma, wheezing, just like, I should probably go to the hospital, but I don't think I can.
That was my next question. Did you just ride it out at home?
Yeah. It sucked.
Well,
and then I stayed home for like the rest of the year because of the old long COVID. But you know what helped me with that? Getting vaccinated. So I'm feeling better.
Hell yeah.
And still staying
Hell
inside.
Yeah. Inside's where video games live.
It's got air conditioning. I've got
It does. Holy shit.
TV.
yeah, arcades aren't a thing anymore, so you have to be at home for video games.
Just thinking about like how much people touched arcade machines.
Yeah. Thinking back to the childhood arcade for us, which was Aladdin's Castle, and I can only like think of the biological warfare on every single button now.
Well, like I went to multiple arcade bars in my younger years where it was all crowded and everyone was breathing on each other and putting their sweaty hands on knobs and then like putting them up to their faces, and I was one of them, and I was like, definitely won't have a panic attack about this, and I can't imagine doing that again, like ever.
I went into one of those like exactly once, and I was like, it's hot in here and there's nowhere to sit, and I don't care about Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They never had
they're fun.
good anything. They never had the big X-Men thing.
Well, even if it's fun, you are playing this game of I don't know what to do with my drink this whole time.
Yeah.
Like I want to use both hands, but no.
A few of them would have a little cup holder attached to the arcade machine, but that was few and far between. And I think also everyone sort of realized, as you did early on, that like this actually sucks. Like actually this isn't fun.
I'd like to sit down and drink with my friends. Yeah. I'll play video games at home where it looks better and is cool.
The frame rate's better at home.
Yeah.
Pretty much universally, the frame rate is better at home.
So, Whit, the time has come. You knew it was coming. It happens every time. That we got to ask you the big question. And you are yet another in a long line of guests where the question is sort of a foregone conclusion. There have been guests where we didn't know what the answer would be. But we got to ask it to
expose your darkness to us.
We got to ask it to everyone anyway. And it is... Are you an anime sicko?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
And,
I mean, like, yeah.
But, I'll say yes, but I was a lapsed anime sicko until
Okay.
you two. Yes. It's the sicko effect, and I'm like, maybe I should watch Food Wars. And then I did watch like 50 episodes of Food Wars, and I'm like, ooh, what about this one that's about farming? Maybe I'll
Silver Spoon!
Yeah, maybe I'll have my friends send me a little Android tablet so I can read manga on it. So, I was out. But you guys brought me back. Because I have a degree in Japanese.
Oh, shit, no way.
Yeah, because I was originally former Guesto, Paul Starr, and I were sort of on parallel life paths where I was like, okay, I'm going to be a translator, and I'm going to go and do the JET program and go teach English in Japan, and then I'm going to... translating video games was what I had wanted to do.
Okay.
And then the summer between my junior and senior year of college, I went to Japan, where my brother, who's 5 years older than me and just a huge copycat, he had done the JET program because he got a business degree and was like, oh, wait, this sucks. And then decided, oh, what do I do? It's the early 2000s. I'll go to Japan. And we went to go visit him, and I was like, oh, wait, I don't want to live here. I don't want to do this. This is hard. It's hard to live in a foreign country, and I don't want to. So I came back.
Was it all the logistics and just like, oh man, this is a huge adjustment? Didn't seem like
yeah,
just a big obstacle. Yeah.
And I also got the vibe just talking to some of my brother's other JET friends there that kind of not as fun if you're not like a cis white dude. So I was like, it's like all the cis white dudes like stayed for 3 years and like get married, which my brother did, and that's fine. He and his wife have been married for 15 years, and I love her very much. But I was like, and then everybody else is like, I'm done after a year. This sucks. So yeah, so I decided not to do that. But I do have a degree in Japanese. I do technically have a degree in being a sicko.
Okay. So did that experience also was becoming disillusioned with a life in Japan? Did that coincide with the lapse in anime watching?
Oh, absolutely not. No, it continued. It continued. Naruto was like only just hitting its stride. Come on.
Oh my god.
When I went there, it was like I think that was when the the Naruto anime was like really just kind of starting to pop off. So I was like, ooh, I hope I can get some good Naruto merch. And I was like, no, it's all One Piece. This was in 2003. I watched like 63 episodes of One Piece back in college, which was again in 2003 or 4. And
they're slow.
And I'm doing the math. I'm like, oh, that's like 0.6% of that show.
Like in a normally paced show, that's when like the main character has like gotten up and put their shoes on, and like the whole plot's still about to start.
There's some sick shit though in those first 63 episodes. So
it's true. It's true.
I still have a pair of disembodied Sanji heads on my keys because somebody sent me a Sanji keychain and then the bodies came off.
So I'm interested to know when what was the last anime before you were like, you know what, this part of my life is I put away childish things. I'm an adult now. I leave behind the cartoons.
Yeah, something must have like made you put that away. Some property, some collection of images.
Well, it's not that. I think the thing that you whippersnappers don't fully understand is how hard it used to be to watch anime. Now you can just turn it on like 6 different things right on my beautiful television, and it's like, oh, boom, there it is, and it's been subtitled the day it came out. And it used to be I had to like log on to a French DC++ server and tap into the other language skills so I could load the hottest new Naruto fan subs. So it was partly just like there was nothing that really piqued my interest that was worth figuring out how to torrent and like do whatever shit was required. So it was just inconvenient. There was nothing that drove me enough. Like, I guess it was in the late 2000s, maybe like 2008, 9. That's when I sort of fell out of the scene. Just like wasn't hanging with people who were super into anime anymore. And so didn't bother. And then I look up later and it's like, what the hell? It's just on Hulu now.
What is this? Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll?
I don't understand why it's called that shit. What's the is it a sushi roll with crunchies on it? Why? I don't get it.
Yeah, so you kids these days don't understand how hard it used to be. And I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you two for that damn trivia book where you were like, who would know this? And I'm like...
a very specific subset of people,
I was yelling at you in my kitchen because I was like, of course I know who did all of the Kenshin songs. And we didn't know that author was a pedophile back then.
This is fun. It's so much fun that episode when we recorded it, we're like, everyone is going to have the reaction we expect. And it turns out we are the only people who don't know that shit. Everyone's got mad at us. I mean, honestly, it's the best possible.
Yeah.
You're fake sickos. You're sickos with like the faux like EUX at the end. Think about it.
Shit.
Yeah.
You do know French.
Yeah, I have a dual degree in Japanese and linguistics. So yeah, but now I'm back in the game. I've been watching some stuff because again, it's so easy. You just it's just right there.
So what was the first return to form? Like you came off the bench and did what?
Well, I will say a couple years ago when Yuri on Ice came out, I was into Yuri on Ice. And I was watching that week to week, which was a wild experience that will never be replicated. Just to be like, wait, are they really doing it? Is this happening? And it was. It was great. But yeah, and then went back into a dormant mode for a while, and then it was in fact, all right, let me see about this Food Wars.
Food Wars is like it pisses me off how good it is.
It's so good, but it's so hard to recommend.
It's so just
like it would be perfect for like my family to watch, like my brother and his kids, but like because they all love food, they're all like great cooks, and but I can't have like my 15-year-old nephew watching that with his parents.
Someone should just recut it so like as soon as they finish cooking, the next scene happens and no one's naked.
They just like cut to like a face of somebody being like, and that was very good.
Yeah, it's like the parent version you can recommend people. Like, yeah.
every episode is 6 minutes long.
Yeah, these are really short.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's so, I don't know. To me, personally, I feel like if you're really hankering for the porno, just get that. I want to see shonen heroes learning how to cook good and making interesting food that I want to eat. And like you do need to still have like the reaction where someone goes on for 5 minutes telling you how good the food is, because like in a fighting series you can just like see someone get hit and know like that punch.
Okay, then they
strong.
should zoom in their face like way too much, so like there's nothing else in the frame except their face talking.
I do always like in Food Wars that the nudity is very equal opportunity. It's like as much as it is boobily breasted women, it's also like old dudes, shirtless, oily men. I feel like it's a kind of wholesome horniness, because it's like nobody's actually horny, but they're just,
There are rules here, you know.
yeah. It's all symbolic, you know.
Yeah,
But it's still so. Oh god, there was a time I paused my TV, and it was just right on the meat-loving girl's big old boobies with her American flag bra, and I didn't realize that. I paused it for some reason, and I realized I was like, oh god, the neighbors can see. I got to be more careful with this.
If they do, you'll just be like, I'm being patriotic. This is what the country's all about.
Do you see how shiny they are?
Oh, is this the character that is like covered in what looks like whiteheads?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Her boobs are so shiny that it looks like she has just two big zits there.
Oof. It's I mean, it's you can literally talk for hours about how much of irredeemable trash Food Wars is, and every word you're saying is true. But it's also great.
It's also very good.
And I think that makes it the perfect thing to like get back on the anime horse, because it really just shows you the whole spectrum, doesn't it?
And anime, it's a muscle you have to like keep working out, or you forget. Like when I was listening to your episode about Hunter x Hunter, I was like, oh boy, that's right. This is the shit that happens in anime.
Like the whole Chimera Ant arc, which is like 100 episodes about like a group of ants that turn into furries that take over an entire country, and the country's North Korea, and then
But the octopus is very complex. The octopus is so complex.
and it's just like there's like 100 characters, including a cartoon octopus who, as Joe suggests, is a very complex character
Like
who looks like a little cartoon octopus.
He's like a sniper, but like at some point he has like a crisis of conscience, and like it follows him for a really long time.
And like this is a type of storytelling that like if you put in front of a person who's used to like normal TV, they just like vomit. They would hate it. But yeah, to us it's just like, now this is what shonen's all about.
Have you guys seen Odon High School Host Club?
Yes, I love it.
Wow,
I have not.
It's very good, but it definitely plays on it has some tropes involved where if you are not familiar with them, you will, as my old roommate did when she was watching it. I would just hear her yelling, "What? What? Why?" And she'd come over and be like, "Whitney, explain." And I'd just be like, "I'm sorry, some people like it when twins make out. I don't know what to tell you."
I mean, like, the very concept of a host club just to start with, it's like, wait a minute. Are you telling me that it is a school-sanctioned club to have a bunch of hot boys who girls come up to and they sort of sit next to them and, like, talk flirtatiously for an hour? And that's the whole club? And it's like, yeah.
It sounds nice.
I would like to see the charter. I need to see the words. I need to see the specific outcomes they have in mind here.
I'm just thinking back to my high school experience, and I can't possibly imagine, like, even 3 boys who would have the level of, like, charm and ability to talk to anybody, let alone girls.
They'd be like, have you seen Boondock Saints?
I didn't know how to wear a belt right for a long time. I can't, like, at that age, I would smell bad and, like, not have pants properly fitting me. And,
Just
like,
very bad face.
Yeah.
I think that was before. I know that was before I knew like what hair was supposed to look like. I had a buzz for most of high school.
I think that's like the safe space for like teen boy hair. Because you don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Just wait. Just wait.
It's the safe bet, but it's like, it's a 0. It's like, I know I'm not hitting a negative, but I'm certainly not getting anywhere above 0. Fuck.
But it's not distinct enough where it can be used against you, right? So no one can be like, oh, a buzz cut. It's like, there's nothing you can do there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, teens shouldn't look cool or good.
Also, there were no teen boys in my high school who looked like a little baby.
Yeah.
Who were named Honey Senpai.
Yeah.
And who carried around a teddy bear.
So do the boys compete? Like, how does this work?
No, dude, the girls book time to get flirted at, and they giggle. It's totally normal. It's the most popular club in the school.
And the school knows about it.
Yeah. The head of the student council is the president. And he's the most handsomest boy in the club. He's the prince. This is all very standard stuff, Joe.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Whit, my understanding is that you are a phone game sicko.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. And I was playing a game, a little match 3, and now that my phone keeps track of how long I've played my little phone games.
Oh no.
I've been playing this one, which is only like the latest in a line of so many games. It's called Project Makeover. And I've been playing it for 218 hours.
Wait, is that the one where the ad is like, this woman has fucked up her life. You must tweeze her eyebrows.
This is one that is actually, of a higher quality. I've become picky about these after a while, where it's the various makeover elements are very well done. You've got some good animation and artwork, and whatever ads you will see, of course, have nothing to do with the actual content of the game. But yeah, it's a match 3, but then as you match things, you get to, do over somebody's room and fix their hair.
I am about to ask a dullard's question.
Please.
But I gotta know, because it's one of those things that I've been afraid to ask, because it's by doing so, it marks me as the dullard. What does match 3 mean?
It's when you ever play like a Bejeweled?
Yeah, it means bejeweled.
It means Bejeweled, basically.
Wait, okay, so it's like Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly
What?
Candy Crush. Yeah.
I thought it was something else. I thought it couldn't be that, because Candy Crush sucks.
Candy Crush does suck.
But it delivers the dopamine perfectly. Like, as a match 3 vessel, like, it is a perfect machine. Like, I don't want to play it, but if you are chasing, like, match 3 feelings, Candy Crush is, like, weaponized.
If you gotta go, it's if you gotta go to 1, Candy Crush is gonna do it. But I'm on it too deep, man. Candy Crush doesn't cut it anymore. I gotta worry about, I was like, oh, these power-ups aren't good. You're not giving me, like, the right colors. It's not enough.
My question is, like, when are you done with one? Because that's the interesting. Usually I hit a wall, or I'll just feel disrespected on that particular day by the game, and I'll be like, this is done. You know what? The Play Store has a new game that won't disrespect me and will solve all my problems.
Yeah.
So what is your, like, exit mechanism?
It seems there's, like, no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like one day I'm like, I'm done. This no longer produces the good chemicals. I do not care anymore about matching these colors. I want to match another colors. I want to decorate a different house. I never want to see Austin Homescapes again for the rest of my life. Hate that guy. And then I just uninstall it, and I try to forget about the hundreds of dollars that I've probably spent on it, and it's fine.
I think, like, maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. It's like, oh, you gave up and you walked away from this game you have invested time and money into. And it's like, no, actually, you have purged yourself of it. Like, the poison has worked through your body, and now you're free. Because I used to, like, my perfect reoccurring thing that would happen to me all the time, as a kid, a teen, as an adult, is I would play Harvest Moon games. I love them, and I love Stardew Valley. But every single fucking time, there's, like, year 2 rolls around, and, like, something happens in my brain, and, like, the colors change, and I hate my turnips. I want to destroy my cows. This is a chore, and I hate it. And I used to be like, you're never going to actually finish the game and unlock everything or get all the shit because you always bail. But now I see I'm playing to just free myself from the need to virtually farm. I just have to get it out of me.
Yeah. It's pretty much it. It's like, I'm just gonna do it until I'm done, and then I've done it, and it's over. I go through this cycle, for games that are not just the match 3 games, which I can just play almost eternally, because I'll play them while I'm listening to podcasts, or back when I commuted, when we left the house, I would just play them for the whole commute, or listening to an audiobook or whatever. So if only I could play a match 3 game while also gaming,
Holy shit.
Why do I not have more eyes and brains? But other than those, I will go through, I've been through cycles of having one kind of bigger game, mobile game that I'm kind of hooked on. I'd say that the first one that sort of set off this cycle was the Kim Kardashian Hollywood game, which I played.
Wow.
I played very seriously for a year back when it first
came out. What was
the
object of this game?
Yeah. Are you Kim Kardashian?
No, but she's your friend.
Oh, hell
fuck.
Yeah, you start it up and she's like, "Hey, bestie," and then you are. This was back in 2014.
I'm already crying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
already so.
No,
moved.
it's very emotional. Yeah, I wrote a review of it back in the day, back when I worked for PC Magazine. You can find it. It's quite good. I think I compared it to GTA San Andreas because it's all about just getting money and rising to the top. So,
is part of it inventing situations to keep Kim from having to talk to Kanye?
Kanye does not appear in it. Well, maybe I haven't played it since 2015, but it actually had some very funny writing in it. It had a good story, and you just find in different outfits, and then of course, if you pay money, you get better outfits. So I was hooked on that for a year until there's just one day I was like, nah, done, it's over, don't want it anymore. Brain no longer wants to chew on it and get the delicious juice out.
So you have mentioned a thing, which is the part of the reason I am too scared to ever play a phone game, which is spending money on them. That's very scary.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I don't. I spend money.
Oh, no.
The dark thing is learning recently that there is, that the mobile game manufacturers have a term for people like me. And it's called a whale.
Not a good term.
No.
The idea being is that there are these customers that have such high value that the game is not trying to have tons of people play it, but just identify these select types of players.
Yeah, if you ever go, it's people who are just going to spend a lot of money. It's they've identified, yeah, you're our cash cow. You're just going to keep giving it. I found this out because I saw a video that was just basically about how mobile games are predatory and taking advantage of, non-neurotypical people and people with impulse control problems. And I'm like, oops, yep, you got me there. And the sweet person making the video is like, and game developers need to change this. And I'm like, they're not gonna. No, that's on purpose. That's the point. They are specifically taking advantage of people with brain problems. Yeah.
Game developers are sitting in a bucket of bloody money, and they're enjoying every second of it. And the end of the article is yeah, they better not do that anymore.
Yeah.
Better not count that blood money so much.
How do you look at literally any piece of news about the gaming industry and come to the conclusion that oh yeah, they're just about to do the right thing?
Yeah.
These guys are on the up and up.
No, they found
they just don't know how predatory this is.
Yeah, so I tend to be looking for the games where I'm like, okay, I know you're only gonna exploit me a little. You're gonna exploit me to the amount that I'm comfortable with. And there's just things I don't know. You've seen the ads for the things that are Emperor and Beauties or a Game of Sultans where it's just
Yes.
I played
yes.
and it's always here your wives fighting or here throw out your ugly baby or whatever. And it's all the mobile game ads have nothing to do with what they actually are usually. And I did one day I'm gonna try out this Emperor and Beauties, and then I played it for a solid 6 weeks, and I probably spent $100 on it because I was like, yeah, fuck it. I want Cleopatra to be my wife. So,
I remember these I saw so many ads for this game called, I think, Hustle Castle, and it looked like Peter Griffin
Yeah. Ugh.
in a castle, and he just impregnates people. And like, it is not an exaggeration to say that I've probably seen that ad 100 times because
Yeah, because they will give you more goodies if you watch an ad. If you don't want to spend money, they'll give you a goodie if you watch an ad.
And I don't know if this is so much the case anymore, but when I was playing phone games, which I mean going to the office, when it's time to see an ad, most of the time you just see the same fucking thing 100 times a day. It's not like they're like showing you other games.
Yeah.
It like the day decides like you're seeing the Peter Griffin hump game, and that's it.
You're seeing Austin Homescapes get his ass set on fire. It's terrible.
He needs to get it together.
I hate that guy. There was a game I was really into for a while that was I wouldn't necessarily call it a match 3, but it was a color matching game, similar but not exactly the Bejeweled model, called Lily's Garden, which I had a friend who was the writer on it, and like
I think I know where you're going with this.
and it was like the actual story for like the first 30 days of this game where my friend wrote it before she had to leave because the company sucks. It was like really good, but then like they started doing the ads that have nothing to do with what the content of the game is. Where like all of these games, it's like set up this scenario in the ad where it's like, oh, this woman has been dumped at the altar, or found her boyfriend cheating, or like she got a positive pregnancy test and also inherited a mansion and has to clean it up.
The ad that I saw that was like the "Can you believe this shit" ad for Lily's Garden was she took all of her she was doing the laundry and sat on the dryer as it was on and found it pleasant. And then she took all of her girlfriends to the laundromat with a bottle of wine, and they all sat on the dryers and did that cross-eyed face.
Now, let me tell you something about that ad specifically and one of the characters in it. There's a character named Whitney who is very literally, specifically named after me.
Holy shit!
Yes. That is, if you play Lily's Garden and there's a character named Whitney, it's named after me because I was the #1 Lily's Garden stand on Twitter. And I'm just friends with the writer who left before Whitney appeared. So I've never played that part.
So I imagine you weren't part of that the decision-making process for that particular ad.
Apparently they're called sadvertising. Those.
Oh, no!
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Because it's always specifically, like you said, like, here's a woman at her most vulnerable. Like, that's like always the pitch for these.
It's like we've taken whatever character models we already made, and we're just going to mix and match them in, like, horrific scenarios of, like, Lily tripping into some lady who is her boss, and then, like, her house burns down, or whatever.
No.
It sucks.
And what do you do in the game?
It's a color matching game. It's just
match color.
And then like the more levels of the color matching puzzles you win, it gives you little stars that you use to advance the story and make the like garden look nicer. I believe you've talked about the good brain chemicals given by fixing up a town.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Mobile, yeah.
Okay, that's an excellent point. Which is
I get it.
These
now.
games have a huge proliferation of little towns you fix up.
Make a house look nice.
Upgrade a base.
Oh, yeah. And then just some games are just truly just numbies. Like any idle game, any clicker game.
Cookie Clicker. I love
yeah.
Cookie Clicker. I've spoken about that at length, and yeah, that's just like Numby the game.
It's just numbies. Yeah, like the Emperor and Beauties game that I was playing, and all those like Game of Sultans or whatever. I just saw one when I was going through the Play Store looking for my latest fix. It was just like one of those, but it was cowboys. I was like, oh boy,
nice.
Wild Desires or something, where it's just like, it's just numbies go up, and then occasionally, if the numbies go up enough, you get like a new wife or a
hell yeah
or a guy.
So I gotta ask, because this is Anime Sickos, have you ever worked up the courage to try Fate Grand Order, the Fate phone game?
I haven't because that's a gacha game, right?
Yeah.
See, this is
okay.
I'm blessed.
I'm about to become a dullard again. What does that mean?
It's like gambling. It's like a loot box, but you get a lady in it. You know?
Yeah. The gacha component is when like you do a quote unquote pull, which is you usually spend some currency to get a chance to draw a character, usually a babe.
Yeah.
And then like every usually a babe has like a star rating for rarity. So like the other games we talked about previously don't have quite that explicit like now what lady comes out sort of function, which also plays in a compulsive behavior a little bit.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed that I
babe.
don't. That one doesn't poke my brain in a way that like any sort of like gambling mechanic or whatever. I'm like, oh no, there's too much chance there. I want the thing where I will directly feed money into it, and it will give me.
Yeah, there's definitely like anime babe versions of any like theme you could want. My understanding, there's one called like Azur Lane, which is just you collect battleships that transform into, or maybe the babes are battleships. The point
I
is,
believe the babes are battleships. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did you see them like floating in the water?
I think they're.
Or is it
they're
just like
babes?
Like, yeah.
So in what sense are they battleships?
Well, they're babes and battleships. What's so hard to understand?
Like, they have
They're
some
not in the
thematic
water.
element. The point is, you can see how, like, the formula is, like, babes plus another thing you can compulsively like. In this case, like, real historical battleships.
Like the HMS Terror and HMS Erebus are in there, and they're got big boobies. It's great. What's not to like?
Fuck!
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Whit, anyone who follows you on Twitter at Whitney Arner knows that you are a verified sicko and a blue check genius.
Yes, I believe. Am I your first verified sicko?
I think so.
If it was anyone, it would be Casey Green.
I agree that there's no one else who would be, and holy shit, he don't have a blue check, which at the level he's at is it's so much more of a power move than having one.
Yeah,
He shunned the mark of the beast.
yeah. So I'm verified, and I applied as a joke.
You're like Jordy. It's okay. So how does it work? Because I don't know how
they make you take
it
a
works.
class? It seems like they make you take a class because they all. It seems like blue checks like just like melt down in the same way, and I assume it's like a curriculum thing.
Yeah, they're like when someone says something to you that disagrees with what you said, you gotta freak out, you gotta double down, you gotta become extremely red and mad.
You've got to do
it
a
seems
bunch
like
of
you
horrible quote tweets of every weird thing, and then you got to do like a 17 tweet thread about how actually you weren't wrong and you did get the joke, but it's not. It's different.
I didn't get mad. You got mad.
mad.
I was just being righteous.
I have
Okay, no, but Hurley, how did you get this fucking mark? How does it even work?
I applied back in. It was in 2017. Which was when I was still doing like some freelance writing. I wrote some game reviews for Polygon, and I wrote some articles for Eater and stuff. And it was when I was doing my podcast as well. And it used to be just like a form, and you could just be like, and it was like, why should you be verified? And I was like, because I write and podcast, and for protection, because I'm a non-cis white dude, and blah. The illusion that they might care about that Twitter. And then like I was like, this is never gonna do anything. I don't care. I forgot entirely that I did until one day I woke up to see a friend had added me. I was like, holy shit, you're verified. And I'm like, so yeah.
So does anything change? Like, are there like hidden game modes?
You get to like go into like the like platinum lounge like at the airport.
They do send me a box of goodies.
No,
No,
way.
they
Are you
don't.
fucking serious?
They don't
Okay.
send me
Oh.
shit.
Fuck. I gotta tell you, I bought it. Fuck you.
Yeah, like it would actually make a lot of sense if they did, because that's why people melt down, because their box of goodies not being respected.
Yeah, no, but that's why it's even funnier that people melt down, because there is almost no benefit. Like all you get is like in your notifications column, where normally it's like, here's your mentions and then here's your notifications. There's an extra tab that's verified, and that's all where you get to see other blue checks interacting with your
okay.
shit. Which,
this is the thing Chrissy Teigen is actually addicted to, that tab.
Yeah.
And this is why there is that sort of blue check culture where it seems like all these people always believe the same things and talk to each other all the time and melt down about the same things. And if one of them complains that their parents are getting yelled at for doing human trafficking, they all come to their defense. How come? It's because of this tab. It's because this is where they live.
Which I don't use because I have my notifications set to only people who follow me, which is what anybody who has a brain, who has like over, 3,000 followers should do. Because don't talk to me, shut up. If you've gone viral even once, you got to turn that on because it's like don't talk to me. But that carries over to the verified column. So like if Vincent D'Onofrio retweets me, I'm only gonna see it if like somebody says, "Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio retweeted you," because I don't follow Vincent D'Onofrio.
It doesn't count unless you're MUFOs.
Yeah. So
that's how.
That's it.
Okay. That's what you have to do to become a blue check, but also remain non-howling skull.
Yeah. It's been tempting sometimes to give it up, or to really the way to go out would be make a blue check sacrifice. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, like Jabuki.
Whoever did the Italian Elon Musk thing, or like I don't remember who Jabuki was pretending to be.
I think it was the FBI. He was like, "We love killing Martin Luther King." It was so happy for us when we killed him.
I follow Jabuki's locked account, so I've seen all kinds of behind the scenes stuff that I won't break the code and reveal. But yeah, if I were ever going to lose it would have to be a blue check sacrifice like that. But it's so much funnier to not, because people like I don't tweet a lot of like really controversial. Yeah, I don't tweet a lot of controversial stuff or anything that people would yell at me about or like even notice. But the couple of times when I have said something innocuous that like randos have freaked out about, it's very funny to have them go, "What this once again the blue checks are saying these stupid things and I don't even understand why, because of your podcast or whatever, you're just driving people to your Patreon." And I'm like, it's very funny that you're mad about this thing that doesn't matter.
You're like, I filled out a form.
And when people ask, "Hey, how'd you get that blue check?" And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I sucked off the guy who gives them out, but you can't get him that way anymore. He died. It was a pancreas thing. It was really sad. So sorry.
The new guy who gives them out, he does not like getting sucked off. He's like, "I actually hate this." So is did they change? Like, because I'm like, well, now I want to get one as a joke.
They closed it for a while. They closed applications, and now they have like they've got a new set of parameters or requirements that I haven't looked at due to the fact that I already got that taken care of. I applied as a joke in 2017.
Yeah, you should look just when it comes time to do your blue check sacrifice. You should just look to see like what you have to climb back.
The only time I came close to doing one is I became Bill de Blasio for a little bit, but nobody gives a shit about Bill de Blasio. They're like, "Oh no, fuck that guy. Nobody's gonna report for you impersonating Bill de Blasio and saying that he's an idiot."
Yeah. Yeah, he would say that.
Everything from my perspective as a non-New Yorker is that like he has been elected twice, but also everyone hates him.
That's basically what you got to do to be mayor. Yeah, there's never been a good mayor. Actually, there's never been a good mayor. Period. I've come to conclude after this past year and change is that mayors are bad, and no more mayors.
Their mayors aren't good, but there's something about Bill that just like really people love yelling at him.
Yeah, he's very tall, and I think that really adds to it that he's just sort of this oaf. Got the galumphing thing. It was always very funny in an old office where they had New York One, which is just like little the local news station there, showing some press conference, and they always had to like change the camera angle to put his like 6'7" frame in with like normal sized people. It's very funny.
He also seems to be very visibly not doing anything. Like he loves to not be the mayor.
Yeah, it's great. He's like, "Oh, I'm taking the subway to the Y in Brooklyn." No, you're not. Shut up. Yeah. So yeah, he sucks. But and nobody reported me for pretending to be him for an afternoon.
It was really fun when he had to go to Iowa and like sit down in a diner, and an old woman who doesn't know who he is has to like hear the mayor of New York's pitch, and she's not like listening. That shit ruled.
Oh, his fucking presidential campaign. I always try to be polite when people, like staffer people, text me stuff. But no, whenever I got a Bill de Blasio thing, I was like, go fuck yourself. You ghoul. Anyway, New York, baby! Let's go, Mets. I'm walking here.
As bad as he is, he's no Lori Lightfoot. She is just a little hate elemental who like crawled out of hell.
Yeah.
She has like made a formal pact with the virus. She has shook the virus's hand and says, together we will be powerful.
So you're saying
everyone will fall before us.
You didn't go to Lollapalooza?
No. I like it's not that I'm afraid of crowds. I just don't love them, and I don't like being in them for extended periods of time. So I wasn't even like looking at Lollapalooza as a fun thing to begin with. And now all I see is like the big like doom counter from Final Fantasy over it. Like a big number 30 that's ticking down.
And this is sort of a tired point, but like, why would you go? Like, if you look at the fucking lineup and it's like Glumpko and like Sebastian Bopkins and like, who are these people?
Are you doing
like, what is
those things?
Those are made up, but like,
okay.
There's like a guy named like Gus Bompson, like who really is real. I'm like,
the tea roast.
Like, I don't understand. Like, and then fucking like Journey and Modest Mouse are headliners on some days, and I'm just like, are we in like vomit? Or like, I'm sorry, no. Like, this is not the right year for that. No. How is like Marshmallow, the marshmallow-headed DJ, and Modest Mouse gonna share a stage? I'm fucking sorry. I'm not definitely getting a new variant of COVID for that shit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Marshmallow was in Fortnite. I think I saw one of those awful banner things about like DJ Marshmallow's in Fortnite, go kill him or whatever.
It was like I remember that. It was like DJ Marshmallow breaks ground with the first ever virtual concert, and it was revealed that they just played his record. It wasn't a concert; they just played his recorded music while like a little 3D model of him sort of bopped around and did Fortnite dances.
Yeah, isn't that kind of just what DJs do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like. Okay, this is again. I'm marking me as a dullard, but just like if there's like a show with like 10 DJs, like why are you staying for all 10?
I don't know. I'm 39. I'm not going to any show where I can't sit down. I don't think a lot of these DJ shows are like a chill sit down situation.
You can't get popcorn in any of them. There's no chocolates.
Although maybe if I just sat there and like played a match 3 game, that'd probably be pretty sick.
Yeah, actually, like I would probably like live music better if I could just like be outside and listen to it and not be in a massive crowd in someone's armpit and casually, I don't know, like play a game where I build train tracks.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
That'd be pretty good.
I'm also 5'2". There's nothing good for me in the live music experience.
Yeah, the concert experience for short folks sucks.
Yeah, it's no matter what. Like, I stand and then, like, I summon immediately a 6'3" person to stand in front of me.
Yeah. You may be sweaty and closed in and in a big, uncomfortable crowd, but at least you feel visually like you're trapped.
Yeah.
So let's...
And then my ears hurt the next day. Love it. Anyway, it seems like a great place to get the virus.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is... everyone came from neighboring states for this. This is a big caravan. We love it. Everyone's coming here to do a big death spirit bomb. I love it.
I remember there was that big motorcycle rally in Montana or some such state where all the liberal blue checks were like, look at these stupid red state rubes, these bumpkin hillbilly idiots gonna get and spread COVID like idiots. And then there were follow-up stories like, look, that dumb motorcycle rally was a super spreader event. I hope they all die because they deserve it. And That's happening again 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, because
in every way.
The motorcycle rally didn't involve trains.
Yeah, everybody drove there in their car.
And also, Delta wasn't around then. That was when we had like beta version of coronavirus. That like, I can't believe how good we had it with beta.
Guys, I mean, this is again. I was an early adopter. They often tell you not to do that, but I think I've just remembered to, I think, really sum up the blue check experience. A tweet that means a lot to me as a blue check. It's by Tiny Baby from June 2019. Checkmark used to mean, wow, this tweet is really from Ashton Kutcher. Now it means, wow, this tweet is really from Mike.com assistant style editor Todd Blancho.
Todd Blancho, yes.
What's great is when I searched it, I see that Todd_Blancho responded, tell me about it.
Cat. It's Cat Talk, our hit new segment where we talk about cats. Whit, you have a famous cat, Emma. Famous in that I see pictures of Emma on Twitter. Every time I see them, I go, ooh, and make my wife come over to look, and she goes, ooh. Tell us about that cat.
She's beautiful. Maybe she can tell you a little bit about herself. Yeah.
Oh my god, she's Poen.
Yeah, she's an angel from heaven. The pet finder description of her did describe her as sweet angel Emma. And she's so soft and fluffy. She's got a fluffy tummy that's all white, and she lies in her bed. I got a tattoo of her in the way that she looks when she's cute and lying in her bed with her little feeties up and her white belly. And she doesn't have any teeth, but she's still killed 3 mice. And she's...
Holy shit.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's adorable and a killer.
I was just telling Joe the other day that cats are fuzzy. Doesn't that kick ass?
Yeah, they're
like,
soft.
I love that.
They're like really soft.
Oh, she looks... Okay, so I have never met this cat, being that she is in New York and I am not. But from what I can tell from pictures... This is a little cuddly girl. Like this MFer loves getting cuddled and snuggled. Is this true?
You can cuddle. People are always like, "Oh, I want to put my face in that belly, but I don't know." And I'm like, "Oh, you can put your face right in there. You can leave it there all day." If you try to take it away, she'll be like,
yeah.
"You weren't done yet." She wants to be cuddling at all times. She's cuddling right now, and then she also will give you kisses.
Oh, so, okay, my cat Lucy, she likes to cuddle for brief periods when she wants it. But she also, just as frequently, will engage sicko mode, where she becomes, like, a little killer.
Yeah.
And, like, she's like, I'm going to need to kill something. If it's not a toy, it's you. So, like, when we see her activate her special mode, we have to, like, move the little shoelace around, otherwise we're getting bit. Does this happen with Emma? Is this Lucy just being a vicious murderer, or is this like something that even a sweet angel cat does?
She doesn't really go into murder mode. What she'll do is she'll just yell at me until I jiggle the mousey on a string around, or red dot. But she goes through. She's just like me, where sometimes the dopamine. She whatever toy is her match 3 game, and she's like, doesn't do it anymore. Need a new thing. And she stops. But she sometimes does chomp me, which is very, very funny to experience with a cat with no teeth. Oh. It's just gum, gum, bum.
Is that supposed to be like a, hey, I'm getting your attention?
Or it's just like, oh, maybe you're scritching me a place I don't like as much. She just did it right now. But then she did lick, kiss. She's so cute. Oh. I'd like to talk to Joe about fleets and what you're going to do when they go away.
Yeah. I'm. This really sucks because... Fleets were the best thing that happened to Twitter. I hated them at first. I was like, why would you ever do this? And then I realized it was just like, oh, this is a place you can dump cat pictures that don't show up on your timeline, so I don't like ruin my content brand, which is that I am depressed. So this is much better. And they're taking it away, as far as I can tell, because too many people liked it. Like, everyone was having a good time. and Twitter realized that probably fleets are more fun than the fucking timeline.
The only time I looked at fleets was because when I realized that that's where you were hiding the cats. And now I hope you stop being a coward and you put them on the TL.
I will now.
I've never seen a fleet, and I found out the reason why. One, they don't show up on the desktop Twitter ever. And two, I have an iPhone 6, which is incapable of running the iOS version required to get to the version of Twitter that has fleets included. So I literally can never see a fleet on my phone. And now I guess even more so I can't because they're gone. So to me, all I heard was my friend Joe was betraying me by hiding cat pictures in the void. And now the void has been closed off and he has to put them in the real world again.
The real secret to fleets, and I think this is why they're so addictive, is that it shows you everyone who looked at your fleet, so you can be like, 90 people looked at this cat.
Oh, that's
I didn't even know
good.
it could do
Holy
that.
fuck.
Yeah.
There's numbies, dude?
Yeah. And they're getting rid of it probably because made people feel too good, you know?
Yeah. Things have to get worse. That's the main sort of driving philosophy for web design in the last decade and a half is like, how can we make this website worse? It has to get worse.
There's also a very chaotic nature to fleets because like you don't know what they are until you open them up and they'll just autoplay them. So like if you autoplay
shit.
fleets, it'll be like cats, just nude. A nude happened.
Did someone die in this one? Is this I hope not. Cats, nude.
That sounds
Yeah,
good, though. You've described it. You've described a good user experience as cats, nudes.
Yeah, it's the slot machine effect that is like, like if I was having a monocle, it would fall into my drink. You know, I was just not prepared for it.
Good gracious. Anyway, you got to post cats on main.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
So
I
I want to open this up. A cat question. I think the entire purpose of having these animals is that they have stupid preferences that like are not related to cat instincts. That they just have these fucked up little rituals they have to do.
Yeah.
And I want to discuss some weird ones with all of you. The new thing that has happened with the font fuckos, Arial and Times New Roman, is every morning I wake up and they love moving the sponges from the sink to the middle of the living room. Like that's like every morning. That's now what has happened. Like they don't chew up the sponges. They don't like rip them up. They just like to have them be there.
That's where they go now. They're just filing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they'll find a new thing. Sometimes cats just make like a decision, and it's like, okay, this is what I do now, and deal with it. And it's sometimes it can be the best, like when the cat starts to sit in a new place.
Oh yeah, Lucy's been she's added 2 new spots to her sitting rotation. She hasn't added a spot to her sitting rotation in like over a year, and she did 2. It's incredible.
Emma added a new one recently that is next level shit, where I've got a coffee table that has like a little nook at the end, which I tend to completely forget it's even there. But then I was like, hey, where's Emma? Oh shit, she's in the nook. She's sitting. I'll send you some pics. She's sitting in the nook with her cute little paws hanging out over the end. She put herself away. She tucked into the little nook.
God. Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll live another day.
That's no joke. Like I get up at like 5 in the morning, and that's when I feed them. Not because they want food then, because that's when I've been waking up. And it's such like a weird mood booster. You're like, well, I made sure 2 animals lived, and I barely have been up for a minute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got Emma after I went on some mandatory medical leave for a mental breakdown. Good old, I really appreciated your talk about FMLA. And then, at the end of it, I was like, I'm going to get a cat to help my brain. So there's always some other creature that needs me to take care of them and is, not a child with opinions.
Oh, another creature that needs you to take care of them, but like it's like pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing that is key.
You don't have to go outside with them. They just
Yeah, no, like they just kind of want to be near you when you play Mario Golf.
oh, they're so good to game with.
Yeah.
Especially the
Lucy-
Switch. Emma's a big fan of the Joy-Cons because I can separate those bad boys, and then I got that hand free for petting. I can pet her with the Joy-Con.
Oh,
She can
yeah.
like rub her little face on it. So she's a Nintendo gal.
So Lucy, she, as I've spoken of frequently in the past, once it gets to be 10 p.m., she needs to be sitting on my lap or she'll yell at me. So when I do my gaming at night, she's on my lap, and she's so happy when I'm using a wireless controller because there's nothing dangling in her face. But when I'm playing on the PC using a controller, I'm using a wired controller, and in deference to her little comfort, I lean my body over very slightly without even intending to do it so that the cord does not hang over her little fuzzy body. And I gotta tell you, if you game in that position for a couple hours and then go like, time for bed, standing up fucking sucks.
Yeah.
What is your
sucks
spine
ass.
worth? Spend $30 on a wireless thing.
You gotta do it for the kitty.
The kitty's so cute. She's so cute. I love cats. Okay, Emma's got like big ol' eyes. Like cats have huge eyes as a rule, but like I'm looking at some Emma pictures.
It's
and
DreamWorks eyes.
She's got
These are
anime.
CGI
She's got
things.
anime eyes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's got the
Fuck,
biggest.
she's an anime cat.
Yeah, she is. She's the best little kitty. I love her.
Oh my god. How did she kill mice with no teeth? Because Lucy, for all of her biting and viciousness, the one time there was a mouse in the house, she did 0 HP of damage to it. She like kind of bopped it around like
She
gently.
focused on status effects.
yes. She was like applying daze to the mouse over and over. It's like, Lucy, that's great, but you got to do some damage soon. You can't knock out a mouse with daze.
I think the fact that Emma can kill mice without teeth makes her even more of an anime cat. Like she has some. She has techniques.
She's like a blind Ronin.
Yes.
Her disadvantage actually makes her achievement so much more impressive.
Yeah.
Yes, some corrupt samurai who does not follow Bushido will come up and say, "Ha ha ha! You have no teeth, old wanderer. You cannot defeat me. I'm gonna go do some evil shit." And then
She goes purr,
the
purr,
technique
purr, purr,
comes out.
and then she stabs it. And any kind of bug, she'll take it out. She's a hunter. She's a killer. And every day at around 7 or 8, I have to give her a Friskies brand Little Soup treat.
Little soup.
LILSOUP, Little Soups. I have to give her one, and I get a little soup, and I pour it in a special bowl. I've got these little cat-shaped bowls that my friend sent me that are perfectly contain one Lil Soup, and then I put a special supplement in that makes her poop better, and then she has her little soup. And if I don't give her her little soup, I myself will face the wrath of her Bushido. She will be a huge asshole and will not stop bothering me. There's like so many times when I've been like watching a movie with friends online and I'm like, hang on, I gotta do something. I had to shift the time when she got her little soup because it kept being like, I'm in the middle of a meeting, or like I'm trying to have therapy. I'm like, it's like I could stop crying at my therapist. I'm like, I have to give this cat her treat or she's gonna kill me. Oh. So she's the best. Cats are the best.
Lucy she's really been up in her game in terms of being extremely annoying in order to get what she wants, which I think is a very fun phenomenon that cats they know enough about what humans find annoying to tailor their behavior exactly.
But no morals.
Yeah. And she did the most wild shit the other day. And Joe, you know about this, but we were going to record an episode around 4:30. We were going to begin. And it was like 4:20, and I'm like, I will feed Lucy now so that she won't be crying for her dinner later. And I knew that she would be because she had been crying from 4 to 4:20, and she usually gets her dinner at 5. So I give her dinner, and I go to set up the podcast recording shit at my little desk. I get the mic plugged in, etc., etc. I say, Joe, are you ready? We get online, we get on the call, we're talking about what we're going to do for the episode. And then my wife, and this is about 4:45 at this point, she's like, oh, by the way, Lucy's been fed. And I turn to her and I'm like, I know, I fed her. And she's like, what are you talking about? She had eaten the entire dinner at 4:20 and then went to my wife, got a second dinner and ate all of that.
You got to get a new cat now. Like, you have to throw her out because that happened, and now she knows the game. Just throw her out.
I heard,
just chuck her. Like,
Joe, you tweeted about how, you gave the cats dinner early because of some reason. Now they want dinner. It's like, oh, you fucked up. No, you're done now.
What I now understand is that a cat is a wonderful creature, but you have to treat all like discipline concerns as like turf war. Like, if you give up anything, you should assume that will be the new standard.
Yeah.
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 Like, one time we thought it would be fun to get a little harness and leash for Lucy and take her outside. And she was really amenable to getting the harness put on. She really didn't give a shit about it at all. We could do it extremely easily. She just stood there and let us do it. And we're like, let's go out, Lucy. And we went out, and she was like really into it. At first she was a little scared, but then she was going around sniffing things. She was exploring and being a little cute explorer girl. She looked so happy going around. And we're like, oh, this is fun. This will be a nice fun thing that we can do for Lucy. So we brought her back inside, and as soon as we took her in and closed the door and took the harness off, she posted up near the back door and started screaming louder than she's ever screamed in her life. Over and 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 over for like
a year, right? This was a year.
I mean, it was pretty close because we looked up like, what do we do? Like, cat behavior is.
You
like,
got to reload your
do?
save, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, for real. There's the answers online was literally there are two options. One, you have to take your cat outside at the same time every day forever, or you literally just do not respond to the screaming at all. Pretend like you don't hear it, and then if you do that for like 3 weeks, she'll forget why she's screaming and stop.
If you're lucky.
Because if you go like, shut up, that's a reaction that resets the 3-week timer. You have to do nothing in response for 3 weeks. We did it. It sucked, but now she doesn't scream anymore.
I fucked up hardcore because at some point Emma figured out that if she pokes me with her claw in the back of my head, I will eventually get out of bed and give her breakfast. So now I'm fucked. I can't. Because there's only so long I can sleep through a sharp claw, that killer claw, her Bushido blade in the back.
Yeah.
Well, I sleep with a sleep mask, and one time she like snapped it like a teen boy snapping a girl's bra.
Oh, fuck. That's ridiculous. So what Lucy used to ask for breakfast every morning by sitting next to my wife on the bed and taking one claw out and just like a fucking serial killer, just like dragging it against her cheek. Not to like cut or like catch on the skin, but just enough to like, do you feel that blade? Do you feel that edge? And she would just do it over and over with the same claw over the same stretch of skin. And the solution that we ended up having to do is instead of giving her 2 meals, just split the same amount of food over 4 periods. So she gets her breakfast at the normal time, her dinner at the normal time, and then another dinner at 10 p.m., and then another dinner at like 1 or 2 a.m. when I go to bed.
Been there, yep.
And she doesn't ask for breakfast no more.
Time for my cat's midnight snack.
I mean, it is fun how these cats, these little creatures, are supposed to be like our little pets that we get for our benefit. But man, so much of my life has been restructured around the whims of this little maniac beast.
I'm glad I have it.
Mine's been pretty easy, if I'm being honest. Roman just likes to. His new thing is he likes getting hugged. Like if I'm at my desk, he will jump up and then like. So he's at like about like chest level, and then he gets up on his back legs and then throws his front arms around my neck.
Oh, that's a good.
And
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma likes the cuddle that way, and then she gives my face kisses. So.
Oh.
And
Lucy will sit in front of my laptop and just like sort of look at me, and won't like make a move to indicate what she wants, but she wants a hug, and I hug her, and she leans in a little bit, and then she's like, "All right, I'm gone." She doesn't use her arms too. Yeah. Joe, that's one of the most incredible things I've ever heard in my life. He hugs you with his arms.
You got a good one there.
He likes Yeah, he likes being held like a baby. And his move is like if I'm laying down, he doesn't quite understand. He's like, hold me, like stand up. So he'll just like go to like the area by my neck where I would like hold him if I was standing up, and he flops around like a fish, as if to be like, this is the general thing I want. You see what I'm getting at?
Folks, cats kick ass.
They're good.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
Whit, you have spoken of Lil Soups. You have spoken of being a soup sicko. You must expand on this. Go.
So I love soup. It's my favorite food. And it's been my favorite for a long time. Because my mom would always make... It tended to be the repository for leftovers. You know, it's just like, just going to throw all this in a pot. It's dinner now. Mm-hmm. And that works. And then I've always enjoyed cooking. And, cooking for myself over the many years. And then a couple years ago, when I was unemployed and needed to make money to live, I started a Patreon where I did soup recipes. Because I'd made a couple over the years, my own like originals, and I just like had a bunch of soup recipes. And I was like, I don't know. Well, will people give me $5 once a month for a soup recipe? And it turns out, yes. And I got like 100 people doing that. And I've been doing it for like 3 years. So every month I come up with a hot new soup recipe, and I try to make them original. So it's not just like black bean soup or chicken noodle. I get a little weird with it, Like I came up with a soup that was in honor of former Guesto, Paul Starr, my best friend. That's a green chili popcorn soup, because that guy loves popcorn, and he's from New Mexico. And like I put some other stuff in there, and I was like, yeah, this is my love letter to my friend in the form of
bold
soup.
flavors of the Southwest.
Are we talking about popcorn floating on top?
Yeah, you top it, yeah, and then it makes like,
wow.
It melts into it. It makes another sound. It's the first soup I've ever made with like an audio component.
That's pretty good. So I gotta ask, and this is again exposing me as a dullard whose brain doesn't function right. So I style myself as a good cooking guy. I'm able to cook well.
I hear that about you from the McHenrys, that you've made a tasty meal.
Oh, I did indeed. But here's the thing about me is that inventing a recipe as you do, like coming up with something on the fly.
Yeah, recipes come from other people. Like that's where they come from. So you're suggesting they can be inside of you? I don't think that's true.
Yeah, no. How do you know what to do if it's not written down? There's a logical fallacy, and you're talking right here.
Well, you see, I've eaten enough over the years. Actually, I'd say you've never eaten enough ever until it's time to go.
Yeah.
But that
I hear that.
When it's time to think of a new soup, I just sort of like enter the soup avatar state, and the ingredients and flavors float through my mind, and I'm like, hey, what would be a good thing to go in a soup right now? And I'm like, corn. What haven't I done with corn?
This is deck building. You're describing a deck builder.
Oh, maybe this will make me like deck builders.
If this is truly how you draft soup in your mind's eye, where the ingredient options come to you in groups of 3, and then you select which one every time.
Kinda, yeah.
What flavor is the equivalent of card draw? Because you got to have some, but not too much.
Salt.
Yeah. It's sodium.
I don't know about that, because salt is salt is like damage. Like if you don't have salt, you don't have soup. Similarly, if you don't have damage in your deck, you don't have a deck.
I'd say maybe a citrus or some sort of acid. Like a vinegar.
Maybe. Yeah. Vinegar is card draw.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
When I can't sleep, when I can't fall asleep, like a normal person. Or I'm just like, okay, I'm just closing my eyes and pretending to fall asleep, and eventually that might make me fall asleep because the body is hell. And I'll just start thinking about soups. I'm just like thinking, like, what's a normal food that I could turn into a soup? Like, I made a bacon, egg, and cheese soup recently.
How does that fucking work?
So the bacon, egg, and cheese soup, I had, I just kind of made it a whole breakfast thing. Because just having like an egg drop soup with some bacon in it didn't feel like quite enough. So I got a bag of frozen hash browns in there. And then like as they cooked, they kind of melted into it to thicken it. So there was like a little bit of the base to it, but like maybe a little bit of potato bite. And then some eggs, and then I toasted up like some sandwich rolls. I couldn't find a good like, sorry to use a confusing New York word here, but a bodega sandwich roll. And then topped it with some crumbled bacon and scallions and a little bit of hot sauce and mixed in some cheese. And baby, you got a bacon, egg, and cheese soup right there.
We have bodegas here. We just call them Target.
Jesus Christ.
Whit, can I ask you to sort of like stand on trial for soupdom as a whole and make you defend the medium?
Absolutely. I'm ready. I've been training to do this my entire life, or at least the past 4 years.
So one of my all-time favorite tweets is from Gene Simmons in 2014, which is it's a picture of what he's eating, which is clearly just some Campbell's run-of-the-mill soup, and the accompanying text is pathetic. I hate soup. I love this tweet because Gene Simmons is rich. He doesn't have to do this.
No, he could eat a better soup. He could put, Gene, you could put a little bit of, like a little hot sauce in there or something. Gussy it up, man. You don't have to just stick with what comes right out of the can. That's simple-minded.
Also, categorically, like, if he doesn't want to eat soup at all, what is he doing to himself?
You don't have to eat soup. Like, there's other foods. There's other soups.
What would you say to Gene? Like, what would you say to Gene? How would you get him back on the path?
I wouldn't say anything. I'd hand him a bowl of my soup.
Okay, how do you? Okay, so I'm learning about how you can make a soup from your own brain here, but I'm not fully there.
Yeah, you cook it in a pot.
No, shut up, bitch. I want to reach your level so that I too can become perfect and have no problems, so that climate change doesn't apply to me because I know about soup enough. So I know there's that deck building analogy, and I like that. But, like, for me, whenever, like, the thought occurs to me, like, maybe I should try to, like, make up something, I'm just like, but all the food I have in my house I bought because I was going to use it for something else. Like, it seems like in order to become a sicko who, like, comes up with recipes, you have to be like, well, what do I have on hand? And, like, you start from there, and it's like, what? I don't have any extra shit on hand. Like, I only buy food... Do I have to start like making like wild card purchases at the produce section where I'm just like, let's see what this becomes?
I mean, that's sometimes. I've never gone into the CSA thing to just get like random box of vegetables because that's, I don't know, that's a little bit too confusing and difficult, but it's good to have, some pantry staples on hand. Every time I go grocery shopping, I'm like, I'm just going to buy like a can of tomatoes or a can of beans and see what happens. But for me, the soup making process, it starts before then. I got it in my mind,
Okay.
I'm thinking of these things like what, because the thing about soup that really I find it, I think, maybe easier to make up a recipe is because you've got that liquid medium there already. You can put whatever fucking shit in there. It's just, you put it in broth, boom, it's soup now. So it's just like, what can I do? Just like put a soup, and then
I feel like the mark of like a really good cook is that you can see the ingredients you have and like see a hole there, like you can make it work. But I feel like with soup, like that ability is increased. Like soup does seem like the ultimate medium for I have X amount of things hanging around and I need to turn them into a coherent thing. Is this true?
It's good for like, because it's kind of impossible to not make a lot of soup. It's one thing. I don't know how to make like soup for one. I know how to make soup for me like 4 or 5 times. Which is another thing that's why I think I really got into it. Because like when I was in college or like in my like early days of not having money and, cooking once a week, it's like, oh, this makes a lot of good leftovers. I can put this in the freezer. So that's, a reason why soup works so well.
That's a good point. Fuck, man, I gotta get into soup.
You guys want to hear about my latest one? The one that's dropping in the Soup Patreon ones next?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're gonna like it.
Fucking sneak peek.
I think it's gonna be like thematic to some things you've discussed before. It's banana soup.
Interesting. My thing is I only like banana as fruit that you peel. Like when it's in other forms, I'm like pretty indifferent. So I'm excited to be wooed here.
Yeah, I mean,
My thing about bananas is that I think that they're fine, but my wife considers them it's the one food that she absolutely hates. She can't even see a banana without feeling nauseous. So I haven't had a banana in years,
Yeah.
and I won't for many more.
like this is
I can't have them in the house.
my recipe process. Like as I stated, sometimes I can't sleep and I'm just thinking about flavors, or I'm just meditating and a corn cob is floating through my head. But this last one, I just saw some bananas on my table and I just sort of wandered around my apartment muttering, "Banana soup, banana soup."
So like, how did it happen? Because to me, I'm seeing a banana soup and my brain is just like, that don't work.
Yeah.
How do you make it work?
And then
I'm seeing you dropping peeled bananas in hot water, and I'm not really thrilled.
Yeah, and I tend to I'll Google to be like, has anybody thought of anything remotely close to this before, or am I fully crazy and have to go out on a limb? And there's there have been some savory banana soups in other lands, but I'm like, I don't want to exactly copy that. That's shitty behavior. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a spicy banana soup, and I'm gonna the bananas are not going to be the main component. There's another vegetable in there. So it's onions and garlic and some spices and parsnips, and then banana, and then puree all that after cooking it. And then I topped it with things to balance out that sweetness. I got some chorizo and some roasted corn and red pepper.
Oh,
And
I love chorizo. Chorizo should be added to everything.
this is the Spanish chorizo, which is...
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's what I hoping you were gonna say. Oh yeah, that's the kind I like.
Yeah, that's my fave. So...
Ooh, that's good shit. Okay.
And then topped it. So, you gotta get. I read a book, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah. sorry to brag. It was called Taste, or something like that. I can't remember the exact title. And it was just about kind of how flavors work together and sort of helping you figure out, oh, I've tasted this thing I'm making and it doesn't taste quite right. What could I add that could make it taste better? To be like, oh, if it tastes like this, you should add some more salt or some sort of acid thing, or an additional umami. Which, on that note, everybody should just have a canister of MSG. Put that shit in everything. It makes everything taste better. Put that in literally everything.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
I got a big box of instant dashi powder from H Mart, and that shit's mostly MSG. It's got some fish in it, but it's
You gotta go to get the pure
it makes
shit.
everything better.
Get the pure shit. Just put it in everything.
Hell yeah.
Just snort it. Who cares?
So how many bananas are going into a serving? I want to know
I would
what's
say
the fruit deal.
a quarter to a third of a banana.
Okay.
So it's not too
Okay.
banana forward. There's there's some sweetness there. There's some banana.
Okay.
But then I had a little zip of lime juice at the end to kind of. So you want to make all the flavors dance together. You want a balance of all the stuff.
I'm liking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's coming together for me. I still have that mental block in my brain. It's why don't I just look up a recipe?
I mean,
And it's
you could look up a recipe on my Patreon.
oh my god, incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're framing this as if you now have to do all this thinking when this entire process has revealed that there are soup recipes that you don't have to think of, and there's a place to get them.
Yeah.
What's the URL you can go
That's
to?
patreon.com/Whitney Arner. WHITNEYARNER.
That's to me. Why waste my time futzing around with these soups when I could simply pay a genius and have it already done for me?
I got 30 on there and got some up for free. I try to make them very vegetarian friendly, or meat optional, and not getting too crazy of ingredients, and also easy to make for depressed people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's all my thing.
Yeah.
That's all the things. That's all the boxes I need checked.
Easy ingredients are good because many times I go to start preparing for a recipe and then there's just some weird fucking awful specialty thing that everything hinges on, and I'm like, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to go buy.
No.
this for that.
But let me tell you a secret. Sometimes you can just put a different thing in there.
Yeah.
You're allowed. They won't know.
Are you?
I mean, it might not be as good.
You?
Sometimes people will comment as like, oh, I can get this. We'll be okay. I'm like, it'll be different, but it'll probably be fine. So, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. The cops aren't going to catch you.
Well, they might, just not for this.
No soup cops. All cops are bisque.
So you were in New York, so you were there when every blue check, aside from you, was saying that, like, all of the fireworks in New York this summer are actually a psyop by the cops to get us to become used to the sound of artillery.
Don't start. Because that was actually, like, going off right near me. And it really was driving me crazy. And, like, I believed every conspiracy theory at once because I didn't sleep for, like, 2 weeks. So.
Well, that would do it.
I am one of the blue checks who's like, no, it was like bombs going off at, like, 3 a.m. after, like, several hours of silence. So, yeah, no, I'm firework pilled for whatever the fuck was happening there. I believe everything simultaneously. I was insane. I got on a new anxiety medication because of those fireworks.
Jesus Christ.
Because I was so crazy and I couldn't sleep ever.
Well, if it was a psyop, it worked.
Yeah.
They fucked you up.
Yeah, fucked me up real bad. Thanks, Obama.
Holy shit.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
Folks, to me, excellent Guesto episode. It felt like an incredible experience, a totally friction-free experience with no problems. Thank you, Whit Reynolds, for joining us on a delightful Guesto episode.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Finding this podcast in the later days of 2020 was just really one of the best things, and it's been nice to get the sicko brain virus and start saying all of your terrible words, and then slowly infecting all of my friends as well. And I'm very happy to be now part of the process.
Yeah, you are your primary source now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So,
have you thought about Dark Columbo at all? Because I've been thinking about Dark Columbo a little bit more.
Oh. Yeah.
Specifically the fact that, like, if you deal with, like, a lawyer or a legal institution that does any sort of debt collection, they have to, at the bottom of their communication, like, tell you that this is a thing that collects debt and can be used against you. That's Dark Columbo's, like, secret move. It's like, at the end, you are now fucked because what you said will be used for debt collection.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, and obviously scaring myself.
I've been thinking about Stoner Goku. I've been thinking about how, like, Piccolo's green and is Stoner Goku's friend, and I think the connection is pretty clear.
Yeah. Yeah, he's made of wheat.
What if he was made of wheat? So, where can people find more about you if they have listened to this episode and correctly determined that you are a delightful person who is worth following and paying for soup recipes? How can they do that?
You can find me on Twitter at Whitney Arner. You'll know it's me from the blue check. And the picture of my icon, which is a cat eating spaghetti. And then the Patreon is also patreon.com/Whitney Arner. There's like 30 plus soup recipes there that you can get. And I have a bunch up for free. And there's a new one every month. And I try to get weird with it and have fun.
When you got such bold flavors as a Southwest popcorn and banana soup, how can you go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really keyed into this popcorn aspect when you said the texture changes. I'm going to check this out.
And that I can't emphasize enough. I was not prepared for the audio element. Normally with food, you don't get that. You got to be at some, I don't know, Iron Chef ass experience to be like, oh, it's making a noise.
I like. Have you ever done that thing where you put bonito flakes on something and they dance around? Yeah. That shit's wild.
A little like a konomiyaki and they just wiggle.
It's like they're alive. It's like, ooh, my food's fun. It's like I'm eating a Dunkaroo again before they made them bad.
A fishy Dunkaroo.
Exactly. Thank you for a great guest episode. It was wonderful. But that's all the time we have on Anime Sickos. I have been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
And I am Win, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.